Hello and welcome to another spectacular thing. Today we are going to install Traefik as a reverse proxy for our Nextcloud so that we can get to it from outside. You'll remember that we installed Nextcloud in the last video. In this video I'm going to show how the Traefik installation was done. First, I'm on a blank Ubuntu server, which is set up with Docker and Docker Compose, and that's it. Nothing else is on this machine. I'm going to first create a Traefik folder. And then I'm going to cd into it. Then I'm going to create a Docker Compose file. This is going to consist of only Traefik. The image is Traefik at latest. And the container name is Traefik. We're going to create a network called Traefik Proxy. Can't forget to create this network. I tend to forget to create the networks and then things don't work. And we'll see later if I actually remember or not. Ports 8080 and 443. Of course, you probably only need 443. And then there's several volumes that we need to create. So first is var run docker, var run docker sock. And that goes to var run docker sock. And that one is read-only. Next, we're going to say home, and I'm putting this in my home, so this will be home Todd. You obviously have a different name. You might even create a user on your system just for Traefik, which is probably a good idea. I didn't do that here. Where was I? Traefik.yml. And that goes to just root Traefik YML, and that one is read-only as well. Home Todd Traefik data config YML. That goes to root config.yml. That one is read-write. Home Todd Traefik data let's encrypt the folder, because we're going to use let's encrypt to create a SSL certificate for us. And then for logging, probably should do this to var log, but I'm doing this in home Todd Traefik Traefik data Traefik log, and that goes to root Traefik log. Again, you'd probably want to do this in the var log folder, but I'm just doing it here for simplicity. And I also add in local time as a read-only thing. All right. Then we set up our environment. I said that we're going to use Let's Encrypt to create some encryption or some SSL certificates for our server. I'm using Cloudflare, so the environment variables are CF, API, email equals your email here, and then CF API key equals your API key here. I won't dox myself, so I won't put those in on the video, but I'll change it in a minute. Labels, Traefik, enable equals true. Traefik Docker network equals Traefik proxy. There's lots of labels that we're going to do here, so I forgot the space here. Okay, next is Traefik HTTP routers, and then I'm naming it Traefik. TLS equals true. And then Traefik HTTP routers Traefik dot TLS cert resolver equals Cloudflare. We'll set that up in a little bit. Traefik HTTP routers Traefik TLS domains 0 main equals your domain dot TLS, right? HTTP routers Traefik TLS domains 0. Oops, this should be main, not mail. Sorry about that. This is sans. And this one you want star dot your domain dot TLS. Okay. Traefik HTTP routers Traefik service equals API at internal. And then the network that I said that I would forget to create, and I probably still will. So I'll do it right after this. External is true. Give us a blank line at the end, and then we'll save this, and we'll create our Docker network create. Okay, I remembered to create the network. Good. Next, we want to create a data folder. In this data folder, we want to create the config file, so vim config YML. Now, the config YML file is the configuration for Traefik. Oops. So, first we start with HTTP. And this is going to be routers. Oops. Call it Nextcloud with an entry point of HTTPS. Rule. Well, this one's kind of important here. It's called host backtick, not the not apostrophe, but the backtick, and then your nc dot your domain here dot tls backtick quote. Okay, and middlewares HTTPS redirect and Nextcloud secure headers, which we'll define in a little bit. TLS domains. The main domain is, again, NC, or whatever you call it, dot your domain here dot TLS. So like nc.example.com or nextcloud.mydomain.net, whatever it is. And service is Nextcloud. Next, we want to create the services. This is out at the same level as routers. So services, we go Nextcloud and load balancer. Servers, load balancer, servers, URL. This is the internal address of where your domain is hosted. So for me, internally, the address is 10.51.50.199 colon 11,000. And you'll remember 11,000 was the Apache portal address that we gave it in the previous video. Pass host header is true. We go out to services level and we say middlewares. We define these middlewares that we specified up above. So we have HTTPS redirect. And this is redirect CHEME. We want HTTPS redirect. We want this to be permanent. True. And we go back and we want Nextcloud secure headers. And we've got headers. And we have hosts, proxy headers. And that's at X forwarded host. And then we have refer policy. And that's same origin. And we have custom response headers. headers. And that's X robot tag is none. And that's it for our config. Next, we have to create the Traefik YAML file. So vim traefik.yml. And this one has some information in it that is also needed. So that is global is check new version. It's true. And we have send anonymous usage. I'm setting this to false. I don't use Traefik in a unique way that I don't think that they would value any of my input. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know and I'll change this to true. Log level is info. You could do this at debug. I'm doing it info just because I like to see what's going on and I'm testing. So there you go. File path is Traefik log. Remember we put the Traefik log in the root. Next is API. Dashboard I'm saying is true. You probably want to set this to false. It's a security thing. You probably want it to be false. But I'm leaving it at true. Debug, I'm also setting as true. You probably want it to be false. Entry points. There's an HTTP entry point that's address is :80. And we want redirections on that. And we're going to send that to HTTPS. And a scheme of HTTPS. Now, we want this to come all the way back to this HTTP, to the first HTTP up here. And we want HTTPS. And this is at address :443. Servers transport insecure skip verify. And what that does, this is true, that does is our Nextcloud server won't have the certificate, won't have the SSL certificate, but our Traefik server will. So if you go to http://nc.yourdomain.tls, that is secure because it gets its security certificate from Traefik, not from the Nextcloud server itself. So Nextcloud is insecure, so you want to skip the verification on the insecure self-signed cert from Nextcloud. Excuse me. Now, where were we? Providers. Providers. Docker. Endpoint is Unix. Var run Docker sock. Remember we passed that in, and this is exposed by default is false. File name is config.yml. Remember again, we put config.yml in the root also. And then, oops, cert resolvers. We named it Cloudflare. If you're using DN Simple, you'd put DN Simple here. If you're using, I don't know, GoDaddy, you'd put GoDaddy here. But Cloudflare is what I'm using. Cloudflare, Acme, email, my email address, which I'm not going to put in here. I'll put it in a minute. Storage. It goes to let's encrypt, that folder that we created in root. Acme.json is where it's going to store it. And then the DNS challenge will be provider Cloudflare. Resolvers, I'm going to use the Cloudflare DNS. And you could use Google here if you wanted, but I'm just using these because I prefer them. And that's that. Okay, so we've written the config.yml, we've written the traffic.yml. Let's touch the traffic log. If I can spell it right, just so that it's there. And then let's create the let's encrypt folder. Okay, so we've got our traffic proxy network set up. Driver is bridge, scope is local, which is what we want. Yeah, we're almost ready. So and we want to go to port 8080 on the server, as we did before in our Nextcloud setup. So we get our password. Let me zoom in on this so we can see this. Okay, so we get our password, and then we open and we paste in our password, and we log in. So now we want to enter our name, which is NC Demo. And it works as it should. Install Nextcloud 26, and we'll download and start containers. This will take just a minute, as you know from previous. Okay, and it's coming up. Nextcloud and Apache are still starting. Database, Redis, Collabora, and Talk are running. Probably don't need Talk. Not going to open up the ports for that. Okay, it's up. So now we can take this password and open our Nextcloud instance. You can see the address up here is ncdemo.spectacularly.login or /login, and we're going to say admin and our super hard password and log in, and we're in. That's all there is to setting up Traefik as a reverse proxy for your Nextcloud server. If you'd like to see how we would add another server to the Traefik proxy, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can come up with a video for you. This has been another Spectacularly thing. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments down below, and I'll respond to them as I can. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. I really appreciate all of my subscribers. Till next time, this has been a Spectacularly thing. Thank you very much.